Happy Tuesday, Frank Rock, House of Orange Sports Channel. This is your Ace Falls post-game recap coming up. Tennessee takes care of business tonight against Xavier, 10-2. A lot of the same things that we've seen all year with these midweek games. Good sign. Tennessee comes out of the gates tonight. A good outing for Xander Seacrest tonight, coming out with 3 scoreless innings for him, and that was encouraging to me for a team that I feel still has some questions on this pitching rotation right now, but just getting, right into this thing with him tonight. Seacrest went 3 innings, no earned runs, no runs at all, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, 5 flyouts, 1 ground out on the night, 40 pitches. So 2 of the strikeouts, it was strikeouts looking. And then I'll come back to the others here in just a few minutes, but that's a pretty good line of work for him. And I really feel like and a buddy of mine who was at the first games in Arlington, watched him play. He was like, we were texting about it, and he said, I was kind of wondering about him after Seacrest got hit pretty hard by Baylor in Arlington. But ever since that, I feel like he's pitched pretty well at this point. Just looking at his numbers, he's now at a 3.31 ERA, 21 strikeouts and 16 in the third inning, and only 3 walks. That's pretty solid numbers. 6 earned runs. And just 6 runs, so no unearned runs that he's given up. He has given up 3 home runs, but I feel like he keeps getting a little bit better, so he gains that confidence midweek. Can that possibly go over to the weekend? I mean, he only threw 40 pitches tonight, so I believe if needed, you could come up and throw him again this weekend at some point, for sure. And, maybe that's the thing with him working his way, getting better as the year goes along. Maybe that affords you the opportunity to throw Dallas and Schaefer a little bit more into midweek and kind of build them up. I need to slow down because I'm talking over my words here tonight. But and there's been no foul substances either. I can promise you that. Dallas, I thought it was encouraging with him. He did walk 1 in his inning. He come in, but I thought overall he looked pretty sharp tonight. He had 1 inning, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, 13 pitches. He faced 4 batters, 1 flyout, 1 ground out. So the thing about him for the year, he's thrown 7 1/3 innings. He has a 0.00 ERA. He hasn't given up any runs. His problem is he has 9 walks to 8 strikeouts. That's what's keeping Matthew Dallas from pitching more innings. And, starting to see Tony's getting a little bit of a quick hook with some of these guys. Marcus Phillips went a third tonight, 9 pitches. He got 1 ground out. Then he had a walk, and Tony pulled him out. Of course, he went to the lefty Stamos, so I wonder if it was more of a matchup-oriented move that he went with. But the one thing that's standing out to me with this pitching staff, it seems like nobody wants to claim that closer spot. And of course, they've not really had that opportunity. All their wins, for the most part, have been blowouts. I mean, Snead has 1 save on the year. But other than that, I mean, all of your midweek games, for the most part, have been blowouts. There's been a couple close ones with Southern Indiana and with UNC Asheville. But Snead it's pretty crazy. We're only, about a month in, and he's 4-1 with a save in addition to that 4-1. So, when he's coming in throwing, he's throwing a lot of innings so far for a guy who's a relief pitcher. But I thought some pretty positive things out of that rotation with Seacrest, and then Dallas. That's 2 guys I look at. Stamos, no runs. Phillips, no runs. Kirby Cannell, 2 1/3, 2 strikeouts, 1 hit, 5 ground outs, and 26 pitches. Another good outing for him. That gets him down to 2.79 on the season, 11 strikeouts and 9 2/3 innings. Brady Robertson, who I haven't seen a whole lot of. He's only thrown 1 1/3 inning. He did give up a run tonight. He gave up 1 hit, and then they got a sac fly of him. Dylan Lloyd gave up his first run tonight. I just talked about him yesterday and how good he looked, and then he come up and finally gave up a run tonight. But, up to this point, and for the season, he's at 7 innings, 10 strikeouts, 4 walks. That's decent numbers. He does have a couple of wild pitches. Marcus Phillips has a few wild pitches. That's where you're with Phillips. I think that's starting to hurt him. He has 4 walks to 6 strikeouts in 4 2/3 innings. So that's a big thing with this staff is control. And I think with this, we're going to find out Frank Anderson is all about this talk they talk about with Frank Anderson. Come, we'll be honest. Last year, the results were less than stellar with this pitching staff. That's why they had to make the moves that they did. That's why you've got a pitcher who's going to be one of the top picks in the draft pitching somewhere else right now. It is what it is, guys. It is what it is, and we'll call it like it is. I want to see this great reputation of Frank Anderson. He needs to prove it this year because that starting rotation last year was not that great. It really wasn't. You still had Dollander drafted high, but Dollander did not have a good year. Lindsey was decent. Beam at the end of the year, no doubt, was your best guy, but Chase Burns had your most upside, and he got hammered, and they moved him to the bullpen on it. Can you blame him? No, but did he deserve another? I don't know all the conversations I have. I don't know the attitudes. I don't know all this stuff with it, but I can tell you this with this staff right now, and don't get me wrong. I love this pitcher. I love this staff. I love Vitello, Anderson, all these guys. But also, I want to see some of this stuff because we've seen some trends last year. And, I give them credit. They did a heck of a job getting this team to Omaha. They really did. We're going to see it this year because right now I still think it's a team that's a work in progress, but it has a lot of talent and a lot of potential. We'll see. The good thing is it doesn't matter on March 19th after you just won 10-2. Big series coming up this weekend for Tennessee, no doubt. But let's get right into the offense now. Talk about Blake Burke. Starts it off with a Blake Burke bomb tonight. One of those you're questioning right now if it's landed or not. I don't know if they said on the telecast, as I didn't see it live, but I saw it later, and it was a massive shot tonight for sure. Burke had a good night. A lot of guys got at bats again tonight. The guys that stands out to me, I'll go through the whole order tonight. Christian Moore had an RBI. Burke had 2 RBIs. Dylan Dreiling, he had a big double later on. Now, he was 1 for 4 with 2 strikeouts, 1 looking, but he did have a big double that got in a run later on, prolonged an inning. And then Cannon Peebles, 2 for 4, had a bases clearing double toward the end. Dean Curley, 2 for 3. One guy that stood out to me, a couple guys that stood out to me on their at-bats. We got to see Ariel Antigua finally bat tonight. If it hadn't been for a big wind, as I felt some of that, I was up in Tennessee today for a while. Ariel Antigua's first at bat as a Vol was a home run, and he almost on his second swing, he hit it to dead center pretty much, and had a little WTP. But that was pretty encouraging to me because that was one of my questions because he's a smaller guy in terms of height. I'm not sure on like his build and stuff. Looks like a pretty well built guy. I don't think power is going to be an issue with Antigua. And, you look at it next year, you got to think that left side of the infield will be Antigua, short, Dean Curley, third base. I think that's a foregone conclusion on it. But we'll see. That does remain to be seen. But Curley, 2 for 3. I thought that was good for him to get his confidence going. A guy I'm going to give credit to, Ken, I think it was around the 6th inning. Bases were loaded. Reese Chapman, he got down. He was at least down 1-2. Fought back, fouled a couple balls off, and drew a bases-loaded walk and got a run in. I thought that was a great at-bat by him. And, sometimes those little at-bats like that pay off. And with Chapman, he did have the walk. He had a sac fly tonight as well. That's the kind of at-bats I like to see. Make things happen, swing that bat, foul them off, do your thing. Good job by him. Charlie Taylor, Charlie did get an RBI with the sac fly tonight. Give him credit for that. They pinch hit Hunter Inslee later. I was like, nah, Inslee strikes out looking. 1 step forward, 2 steps back with Inslee on the year. He'll have, he had at Alabama Sunday towards the end, got robbed of a bullet that he hit. So I guess it's the strikeouts with Inslee that kind of had me with him because I'm looking at him on the year now at this point. He's at 15 strikeouts, and he's only at 56 at bats. So, your strikeout leader is Dylan Dreiling on the team, and then you have numerous guys, all of them in the teams on it. So, this is a strikeout-heavy team. And if you go really strikeouts per at-bats or volume, Curley has the most based on volume, 14 and 53 at-bats. This team's got to fix the strikeouts. That's one thing. Put it in play. Do it. Sometimes you got to shorten that swing up a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. That's something hopefully we'll see them adjust and get better at as the year goes along. As tonight they had 1, 2, 4, 6, 8 strikeouts. It's just a strikeout heavy team, and it's such an unproductive out so many times. I don't know if you can chalk it up all to just free swinging or what, but it's that's a lot of strikeouts. I would really be interested to go back and average up their strikeouts per game to see what it's at for the year, because I'm thinking around 7, 8 has got to be the norm for this team. But we'll see. It's still a good baseball team. Don't get me wrong. Am I critical things? Yes. I'm calling it like I see it on it. Is it a team with a lot of potential, an offense with a lot of potential? Yes. We'll see, though. We'll see. I mean, it's a well-rounded. It's decisions. It is coming through in the clutch. Just kind of doing those things. But, the good thing about it is there's still questions, but it's a 10-2 victory. Pretty good night. And like I said, I think Xavier is better than their record indicates. They played a tough schedule. They really have. Who was I saying they played? Virginia Commonwealth this weekend. I mean, they played at Clemson, at LSU. They played Cincinnati. They played Louisville. So, they're not backing down for me. I love it. I love it. Play the best, man, especially when you're and I don't know that I would consider the Big East a major conference anymore. I guess in basketball, you could kind of consider it one, or not kind of. I guess it is still a major conference in basketball, not baseball, though. But, looking ahead to the weekend, Tennessee, Ole Miss this weekend. This is an Ole Miss team. I'm just curious to see how they've done tonight as they're playing Southern Miss. Let's look at let me pull that up here just a minute. I hadn't seen a score on it. Of course, Southern Miss is a team Tennessee should know well. Tennessee fans, as they played earlier or played last year in the Super Regional. Let's see if I can get down to it here. SEC. Let's see. Southern. Don't want Southern Conference. I want Southeastern. Ole Miss is up 6-3 on Southern Miss in the bottom of the 7th inning. And they just took 2 out of 3 from South Carolina over the weekend. It's going to be a good team coming in, maybe a little underrated because, it was just a couple years ago, Ole Miss was the national champion. So, we'll see this weekend, man. It's a grinded out type of conference. I love it. I love it. You got to bring it every weekend. Going to have to bring it again. I want to see how this team answers this weekend after such a disappointing weekend last weekend. They did answer nicely tonight. How do they carry that over to the weekend? That's going to be my question with it moving forward. But I'm going to wrap this thing up. My name's Frank Rock, House of Orange Sports Channel. Hope you guys will like this, share it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you like the content I'm dropping, leave me a message, any content, any feedback, constructive criticisms, anything like that. I'm open to it. But thank you guys. Have a great evening. And as always, go Tennessee Volunteers.
Everyone rejects me.